darkness gathered. 3 heroes confronted the beast called Ordrak. Yet even in death, Ordrak's corrupted heart endured and called out.
Torchlight. I have a lot of love for the first Torchlight. It was a fun, quaint little action RPG title that just seemed to hit all the right little buttons to help waste some time in between some of the bigger budget games. But it wasn't perfect. While a lot of people felt it was a spiritual successor to the original Diablo, I'm going to just say it was just a good action RPG run. But Runic heard the cries of all their fans saying that they wanted something bigger. They wanted something more epic. And my lord, Runic delivered. Enter Torchlight 2. Everything that Torchlight 1 missed on, didn't have, or got wrong, Torchlight 2 gets right in every way. Proving once again that Runic knows how to make a game for the fans. And this game is a love letter to any action RPG fan out there. The story of Torchlight 2 picks up right after where Torchlight 1 left off. The Alchemist, which was one of the main characters you could play as in the last game, has captured the main bad guy's heart in some sort of scepter and is using its power to try and figure out a cure for his ember poisoning. Unfortunately, Aldrich's heart, even in death, is still very corrupting, and he has built himself a suit of armor, you must say, to try and keep himself from being corrupted. Unfortunately, his mind doesn't quite seem to make it through this process because he escapes with Aldrich's scepter heart and seemingly destroys Torchlight. Well, you pick up as a new adventure. Either one of 4 new classes. You have an Ember Mage, who is just that, basically a mage. You have a Berserker, who is a melee fighter, who likes to just get in there and just beat the crap out of people. You also have the Outlander, who is kind of more like a ranger class and uses small arms and rifles to him's advantage. And you also have my personal favorite, the Engineer, who's basically the heavy of the group, uses giant sledgehammers and giant cannons to his advantage, along with being able to build little cute robots to help aid him in his fight. Now, after picking this class, you have a wide range of skill bases and skill trees that you're able to choose from. Each class has 3 different trees that you can either mix and match as you level up, and as you level up, you get skill points that also go into other attributes like your vitality, defense, your magic, and so on. So it's your fairly basic action RPG formula, only you feel like you have a lot of control over how you build your character. And since there is no option to respec yet, except for being able to go back 3 skill points, every point you put into your character means something. It has weight. So every time you go in to put a point in your stat tree, or anywhere else for that matter, you're really contemplating if that's really what you want to do. It adds such characterization to who you build. And the fact that you can go with straight up one kind of skill tree, or maybe a little of this tree and a little of that, it's up to you. Every character you build will be a little different. And they're so diverse and so fun to play as that you're going to want to play through this game with each character class over and over again. Anyway, like I said before, Torchlight's been destroyed, seemingly. So what does that mean? Where are you going to be exploring? Well, the rest of the world. Well, Torchlight 1 took place in one area where you just went through dungeon after dungeon. This one has a vast open area, going through your stereotypical areas like deserts and snowy wastelands and that kind of stuff. This really opens things up to exploration. There are tons of side quests in these areas along with the main quest, and once you enter an area, you're going to want to uncover all of the fog of war. If there's a black area you haven't uncovered yet, you're going to want to go there, and chances are there's going to be a ton of awesome bad guys there waiting to try and do you in. But don't worry, you're going to enjoy your battles. Unlike the last Torchlight, the difficulty level is just right, and even in normal difficulty, you're going to find yourself having quite a big challenge later on. You can't just sort of blow through areas anymore, and it's just fun to try and explore, find new areas to loot, new bosses, new side quests, mini side quests. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I'm just making it up right now because there's literally little mini side quests where you might find some guy captured by a group of bad guys and all you do is release him and he's like, here, thanks. You didn't know it was a quest, but all of a sudden you're getting rewarded for it. It just feels good. Everywhere you go, you're getting rewarded. You explore this area, you find a dungeon, you go in the dungeon, you fight a big bad guy, get a bunch of loot. It's awesome. It never feels slow, boring, or monotonous because it always feels like the game is trying to keep you pushing on and finding more loot and better loot. And yes, there is a ton of loot in this game. Unlike other games that I'm not going to name that makes it a chore to find good loot, Torchlight 2 is constantly having you find excellent equipment for your character. They want you to have great stuff right off the bat and constantly be finding better stuff as you go on. They want you to be having fun, they want you to be killing bad guys and enjoying yourself, and they want you to go into that new cave to see if you can find a better helmet than what you got, a better sledgehammer, a better gun, better arm braces, whatever it is. It's so addicting and so awesome. This is the way loot-based gaming is supposed to be. You feel rewarded, but yet you still feel powerful all the way through. That's why when you do find something new, it just makes it all that much more sweet and all that much more better. And on the note of continued growth with your character, the skill trees have different tiers as well. Each new ability that you have has 3 different tiers. When you get to a new tier, it adds an extra effect and an extra ability to an old ability that you already had. One of the big gripes that I had with the old Torchlight was some of the early skill abilities became practically useless later on. In Torchlight 2, you're actually rewarded for staying with a skill throughout the entire game and continuously leveling up. Once you get to Tier 3, you feel like that skill has grown with you, and you can do that with all the different skill sets, which is really nice. Along with that, each character class now has a charge bar, which acts differently depending on what character class you're doing. As you decimate all the bad guys, this charge bar fills up, and when it's full, depending on what character class you are, you get a special perk. For instance, the Ember Mage, when their charge bar is full, you get a free 12 seconds of infinite mana. Or if you do the Berserker class, you'll go into this Berserker Rage mode that makes you faster and crit like a crazy person. It's really sweet. It's a nice little added effect that adds even more depth, and it adds an extra element of strategy as well. But say you want some more strategy. You're getting sick of just playing this game by yourself. Is there any way I could play with friends? Yes, you can! Torchlight 1 lacked multiplayer, which was a big bummer to a lot of people, including me, because you really want to share this adventure with friends. And now you can. You can go online, or you can hook up LAN. Yeah, that's right, LAN with some buddies. What's really nice is the monsters ramp up their difficulty depending on how many people are in an area. And you don't have to stay together either. You can go off on your own adventures, and anytime one guy might need help, you can just teleport to him and start helping with him. What's nice is that the loot is separate for everyone, so you don't have to worry about rushing in and trying to grab loot before someone else. This way, no one's fighting over loot, and there's even an easy trade button, so if you do find something your buddy might like, you can just swap it with him with just a click of a button. It's really nice, and it's fun, and you share experience and you share fame, so if you do happen to have someone with you in your party that's a lower level than everyone else, it's a great way to help them level up with some higher level friends. Oh, and don't worry, once you beat the game, you can still keep adventuring. A Game Plus mode will unlock. Plus, you'll have the ability to unlock new dungeon maps that you can use to keep your adventuring and ultimately get to that level 100 cap if you want to. So, don't worry, there's plenty of replay, if not continuous play, in this game. With all this new stuff, I almost forgot to mention the fact that all the old favorites from the original Torchlight are still here. You still have a pet, although more options of pet this time, that can assist you in fighting, learn spells for you, and even can be transformed into monsters. And if your loot is full, you can load him up with the loot that you don't want and send him to town. Only this time, he won't just sell stuff for you, he'll even buy stuff for you. Find you're running low on mana potions? just give him a list and send him to town. Although, better watch out. Sometimes I think he might skim off the top. Nah, he wouldn't do that. Along with that, you still have the ability to enchant your weapons and armor, and certain weapons and armor that have ember slots, you can put ember crystals in and augment them even more, giving you poison damage, more armor, or so all that stuff's still there, only in a bigger capacity. See, not all the merchants are there all at once. Sometimes you might actually have to save them in a side mission or find them, or they'll just show up later after you do a side quest for them. So in a way, it kind of feels like you're rebuilding a town at the same time, while getting new people to help sell you stuff and enchant your weapons. Now, graphically wise, I know a lot of people complain about it, but you know what? I think the graphics in Torchlight 2 are still very charming. I've never really been anything for dark, Diablo-like graphics, and I like more stylized, cartoony graphics that this sort of gives off. But not too cartoony. The monsters are huge and menacing, and bad guys explode into gibs of blood and gore when you smash them with your giant hammer. So, while it might feel cutesy at first, it definitely isn't. It has a slightly menacing undertone to it all. And among all that, just like the old Torchlight, this is going to support the mod community too. So, even though this is a complete, full, total package that doesn't even need modding in a lot of people's opinion, this will completely support an entire community of modders. So hey, if you don't like the graphics, then you can make a mod pack and alter the graphics altogether. Don't like the fact that you can't completely respec your character? Well, then they'll make a mod for that. That is also fan service at its best. And Runic, my friend, this is the best love letter that you can give to an action RPG fan like myself, or anyone else for that matter. That said and done, a lot of people felt that the story in this was kind of weak. Personally, I don't really find it to be that weak myself. It fits just fine, but then again, it's just really there for you to get from point A to point B so you can bash bad guys and bosses. Oh, and by the way, the boss battles are a lot better this time around. Very epic and very challenging. The bosses look cool, they act cool, and they're not just a one-trick pony. And you'll be running into them a lot. If you were disappointed with the boss battles last time, don't worry, they addressed it perfectly. And speaking of finish with that, I'm going to give this game a final score of a 9.5 out of 10. While Torchlight 2 doesn't do anything particularly innovative, it does do everything an action RPG should be right. I dare say perfect. And in my opinion, it's at least on my list as a Game of the Year contender. So go out today, get Torchlight 2 on Steam, and have yourself a good time. This is definitely action RPG epic, worth your time, and for the fact that it's only 20 bucks, you really can't say no to it. Again, bravo, Rick. And thanks for listening to this review of Torchlight 2. I hope it was as entertaining for you as the game has been entertaining for me. Till next time, game fans, keep playing, and thanks for watching.
Heroes may fall, hope may fade, but new heroes will arise.